Hello beautiful people, my name is Diana. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is one that I'm really excited for because I have had probably one of my best reading months in a while. I read 11 books and one novella, which I would say I have like a good range of books that I liked and didn't like this month. I definitely found some new 5-star favorites, and there were some books that were kind of disappointing and then some that were just like in the middle. Okay, the first book that I listened to this month was Bad Blood, which is the last book in the Naturals series, and then this one actually has a novella in it too, so I did read that novella. This one was a disappointing end to the series for me, and I know that's an unpopular opinion because I feel like everyone that I've seen talk about this book said that they loved this one and they thought it was a great end. I just thought this one was super far-fetched, and some of the stuff that happened, I was like, okay, you're losing me. I was losing, like, I don't know, I just felt like I wasn't as in touch with this book because it felt so unrealistic at some points, where I felt like the other 3 books, for the most part, were pretty realistic. This one just got kind of weird, I felt like. Honestly, after the end of the 3rd book, I was like, okay, either the last book is gonna be weird or it's gonna like make sense and I'm really gonna like it, and it ended up just being a little bit unrealistic to me. I also absolutely hated how they ended things with Cassie's mom. Obviously, that's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't read it, but if you've read it, you know I was like, that's really how it's gonna end. And then going into the novella, which is called, I think 12 maybe? Yeah, 12. So the novella's in here. That's the novella. Going into it, I was like, okay, maybe we'll get some more closure on our characters because I felt like we did not get any closure on them. Like, I wanted closure on Dean, what was going on with him and Cassie. I wanted closure on Sloane. Like, I wanted closure on all of them. And I just felt like at the end of the 4th book, we didn't really have that. So then I was like, okay, let me listen to the novella. Maybe it will all make sense. And instead the novella was like pretty much just another short story of like a mystery that they had to solve pretty much. Like, I would have been happy if the novella was just them talking, them working through everything they went through, and instead it was just like a whole nother case that they were trying to like solve. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that feels this way. I was disappointed by this book, and I'm sad because I loved the whole series up until this point. I rated it 3-star. I rated the novella, I think, also 3-star. But it wasn't how I wanted the series to end, and I just wish that we had more closure with the characters and everything that they went through, especially what Cassie went through in the last book. Like, how is my girl not messed up? We need a little bit of closure on her. Is she doing okay? I know obviously she was in the novella, but I just felt like we still didn't know, like, is she okay? How's she doing? I didn't get that. So yeah, just a little bit not what I was expecting. I will say I love the series. I totally still recommend it to anyone who likes like a YA mystery. It was still super fun to listen to. I would say it's probably like a 4-star series overall. Okay, the second book that I finished in February was House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I annotated the crap out of this thing. I loved it. I rated this one 4.5. I am gonna say my thoughts on this book. I won't spoil anything major, but I am going to be talking about like the characters in this book and who's together and stuff. So if you haven't read the first book or this book, just fast forward to this point. I'll put it down below where you can fast forward to. I absolutely loved Day and Rune. I absolutely loved that POV. I feel like honestly that carried this book for me. I needed to know who Agent Day was. I was like, who could it be? I was literally guessing every person. I got it right like my 4th guess in, but I don't think that really counts because I guess like every girl it could be. I just think that their romance and like relationship in this book carried so much. I was so obsessed with everything that was going on with them. I just wanted their POVs. Also, Ethan had a lot more in this book, and he's my baby. I love Ethan. He's my favorite guy in this book. I love him. He's my baby. I love Ethan, even though that's unpopular opinion too, I feel like, but I don't care. I love him. So I was really happy to see that he definitely had more of an appearance in this book. I did like Bryce and Hunt in this book. Do I like them together? I don't know. I like them together, but I also just feel like their relationship is so like physical in a way that's so different than like all the other Sarah J Maas couples, and I think I just have a hard time connecting with them as much as some of the other couples that she has written. I think honestly that's a me problem because I know everyone loves them. I love them as characters. I just don't know how I feel about their romance as like a whole. Like I love Rune and Day's romance. I think that is the cutest thing ever. I just have a really hard time connecting with Bryce and Hunt's romance for some reason. So yeah, I rated this, like I said, 4.5. I did really enjoy it. I was really happy. Rune has grown on me a lot in this book. In the first book, I was like, I don't know how I'm feeling about Rune. I love him. This book, he's definitely, like, him and Ethan are my boys. Also, Therian, I feel like, is such a like comic relief for me. If you've read ACOTAR, I feel like he's my Lucian. Like, Lucian was like my kind of comic relief, like comfort character. I feel like that's how Therian is in these books for me. Like, I do like his POVs just because he's so funny. Like, I'm always laughing when he's talking, and I feel like he just has that like kind of personality where he's always cracking jokes at inappropriate times, and that's what I do. So I relate to that. But yeah, I annotated it. Here's a closer look at my tabs. I'm waiting for the special edition of the 3rd book to come out, and then I'm going to reread it and tab it because I have this one, and then if you can see, those are all tabs. That's the first book that I read in January. My 3rd book that I listened to this month, this is probably one of the most pleasant surprises of a book that I've had in forever, because I really did not think I was gonna like it, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six. I finally listened to this book. The audiobook is great, by the way. I would 100% recommend the audiobook. It's so good. This one was a 5-star for me, which I can't believe. I have been thinking about this book every day since I read it. Like, I'm not even joking. I think about this book once a day. It was so good. I don't know how Taylor Jenkins Reid wrote something that felt so real. I don't know if she was in a rock band in her past life or something, because I don't know how you could write something where I literally felt like I was listening to interviews with a real band. Like, it just felt so real. The stuff that was happening felt so realistic, and honestly I felt like I was listening to like a biography or like an interview. It was so good. I was so attached to the characters. I loved Daisy's character. I love how strong she was. She was like so independent. And then I liked Billy's character. I wanted him to do the right thing so bad. I was like, you got this, buddy. You can do it. Like, I was rooting for him because I felt bad for him. He kept messing up, and then he felt so bad. It was so hard because I wanted all the characters to be happy by the end. And let me just say, the ending wrecked me. Like, ugly crying. I was not expecting the way end to hit me as hard as it did. I absolutely love Kamala, I think that's how you say it. Or Camilla? You know who I'm talking about. Billy's wife. I loved her character so much. I want to be more like her. I don't know how she was as strong as she was and trusting, and I wanted to give her a big hug. And then at the end, oh my god, so good. If you have not read Daisy Jones and the Six, I totally recommend it. I really recommend, don't mind the paint on my hands, by the way. I totally recommend this book. I'm not a Taylor Jenkins Reid person. I'm not. I have liked her other books, but I haven't loved them, and I didn't think I would love this one because just how like popular it has been. I was like, I don't know how I like it. I loved it. So if you're like hesitant on this one, pick up the audiobook. It's great. They have different voice actors for each of the characters, and it was just such an amazing read. The next book that I read in February, I'll put a picture here because I don't have the physical book yet, is The Cruelest Kind of Hate by Celestia Byers. I really enjoyed this one. It was my first book by her, and it was a hockey romance, and I read it when I was in Florida, so I just have like this memory of me reading it, listening to the waves come in, and it was really nice. I really enjoyed it. I rated it 3.5 stars. I absolutely loved the male main character, Gabe. He was such a sweetie. It's Golden Retriever and Black Cat, by the way, if you guys did not know that. And he was just so caring about her, and I just wanted to give him the biggest hug because he was such a sweetheart. The main girl, Callista, I think that's how you say her name, she did start to bug me halfway through the book because she had trust issues, and I get it, she didn't want to get into a relationship and stuff, but there was some points where I felt like she was being so unnecessarily mean to him, where I was like, okay, he is doing so much for you and you're kind of being rude. She had issues from her past, but I just think how she handled stuff like kind of bothered me just because I felt bad for Gabe, and he was so understanding. I was like, I don't know if I could have been that understanding. With that being said, I still did really enjoy it. I think Gabe's character was so sweet. I loved him, and I think it was a really fun book. Like, if you want a quick hockey romance, I would totally recommend that one. It is part of like a little series she has going on, and her writing was super fun and it had some spice in it, and it was a fun read overall. I just wanted to shake her a little bit, but it all ended up good. So okay, the 6th book that I read in February, I'm gonna also put a picture here because I don't have the physical yet, is If You Give a Single Dad a Nanny by Anne Enerson. I beta read this book for her. I love her books, I love her writing, and this one was super cute. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't even think she sent out ARCs yet. I rated it 4 stars. If you like the single dad and like she's the nanny trope, she did it so well. She's a painter and they're neighbors, and at first he like can't stand her because she's kind of a hot mess, and it is so cute. I loved the tension. I loved all the characters, like even his kids were absolutely adorable. I loved her. So yeah, it was a really cute read. I don't want to say too much about it, but it comes out this month, so if you guys want to read it, this is what it's called, this is the author, and it was just really cute. I'm pretty sure it would be on Kindle Unlimited too. Alright, the 7th book I read in February was House of Flame and Shadow by Sarah J. Maas. I loved it. 4.75 stars. I absolutely loved it. The crossover between this book and ACOTAR, I think, was done to what I was expecting it to be. I wasn't expecting it to be the next ACOTAR book. I was kind of just expecting them to make an appearance, you know, be like kind of like a subplot through this book, and I think that's what we got. I was so happy that my girl Nesta was the main ACOTAR person in this book, if you will. I love her. I love her character, and she continued to be one of my favorites in this book. Bryce bugged the crap out of me for probably the first half of this book. I wanted to shake her and be like, babe, what are you doing? Why are you not listening to anyone? That's why it has the 0.25 star deduction, just because she was bugging me in this book, which I think everyone can agree she was not listening to anyone. Other than that, Ethan, I loved his POV. And I know people said that they didn't. I did. I really enjoyed his POV. Darian was fun too. I loved Lydia. Lydia is such a badass. She reminds me a lot of Aelin, and if you know some stuff that happened in this book, my prediction is maybe she might be a descendant of her and Rowan, which would be pretty cool. But I don't know, that's just me wanting Throne of Glass to come back because I love Throne of Glass. I have to say it at least once every video so you guys know, but yeah, this one I really loved. I think it's my favorite Crescent City book. I finally felt connected to the characters in this book, and the ending made me sob. I was sobbing. I really liked it, and I know that's unpopular, but I really enjoyed my time while reading it. I kept wanting to pick it up. I read it really fast, and I just felt like it was a great third installment of this series. I read this arc that I was gifted, and it's called Games Played at Our Expense. It's by Madeline Jones. This one was super fun. It was a YA fantasy. I will say I struggled with her writing a little bit while I was reading. I just found myself either like skimming through stuff or like going back to see if I missed anything. But I really think the whole concept of the book was really cool, and I wanted to see what happened at the end. The ending made me cry, which I wasn't expecting, so that was cool. I love when a book can make me cry, even though I don't like crying, but like if I cry over a book, I know that I was attached to the characters. So I really think it was a good book. The writing was just a little hard for me at some points, and that totally might be a me problem. But I think it is a really cool concept. Pretty much it's about a girl who for 18 years, no one that was around her was like actually there. It was all kind of like an illusion, and these people kind of rescue her and bring her back to their world, and they're like, this is where you belong, this is where you came from. And she's like, what the heck? Like, I had a sister, I had a dad in the other world, where are they? And it's kind of figuring out like if they're alive, if they're real, and what she's gonna do about like this bad guy who's trying to like take over. The 9th book I read in February was Black Ties and White Lies by Kat Singleton. I enjoy Kat's writing. I always think her books are super fun, and like they just feel like fun while reading them. I don't have to worry about like crying or like anything sad happening because her books are just for the most part really fun. The second one just came out of this series, and that's Pretty Rings and Broken Things, and I'm planning to read that sometime this year. I don't think it'll be in March, but at some point I will read it. I really liked the first like 60% of this book, and then we find out something that the male main character did towards actually it might have been more towards like the 75% mark, that I really could not move past. I thought it was a little bit on like the stalker level. He is like obsessed with her, so if you love male main characters that are obsessed with the girl, this one's definitely for you. I just felt like it was a little much, a little bit unrealistic maybe, but I still had a really good time reading it. I rated this one 3.5 stars. I do feel like this book is very much like smut heavy. It's probably more spice than plot. So if you like that in your books, this one's for you. I like a little bit more plot, and I couldn't look past what the male main character did. I was like, I don't know, it's kind of weird. I don't know if I could like move past that. Like, I guess if you like someone that's like super stalkerly obsessed with you, then it would be okay, but I just felt it was a little much. What is this, 10th book that I read last month was Once There Were Wolves. Okay, this one was a surprise for me. It's been on my TBR forever, and I was like, I'm listening to the audiobook because it's short. It's like 250 pages, I think. Yeah, 250 pages. This one was a 4.5 star. I loved it. I think it was super unique. It was kind of like a mystery-ish. Basically, it's about this girl who is trying to save like Scotland, and wolves are endangered, and she's trying to bring wolves back into the ecosystem, and trying to teach people that like wolves are super vital to the whole ecosystem. If there's not wolves, then like the deer population will grow out of control. Basically, it's just gonna harm like the entire ecosystem. And no one is listening to her. They all are like, wolves are terrible, they're gonna like be killing people, they're gonna kill our livestock and stuff like that. And it is like it's like a heartbreaking story because you don't realize how much humans do harm the world that we live in, and we should be taking better care of it. And I think she did a great job of putting that in this book without sounding like preachy. If you haven't listened to this one, I totally recommend it. It's super quick and I loved it. I cried at the end. I just felt like it was a book that everyone should listen to because you don't realize how much harm humans do to animals and to the environment until you read something like this where she puts facts in there that you're like, wow, that's so sad. So yeah, I loved this book. It matches my sweater, which is kind of cute. Alright, you guys, the last book I read this month is probably my biggest disappointment this month, and that is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. Oh, I'm so sad because I wanted to love this book. I wanted to. I know a lot of my good friends love this book. I was recommended to read this book for my 12 besties pick 12 books by the Lilac Library. I'll put her Instagram handle here. She told me to read this book and I was super excited because I really thought I was gonna love it, and I really didn't. Rated it a 3-star because I still felt like it was a super cute read. Why I didn't like it as much as I thought I would is it felt unnecessarily long. I felt like it could have been shortened to like 250 pages, honestly. And I just couldn't move past the fact that her best friend was getting abused in her relationship, and instead of the main character helping, she was mad at her for not telling her. I thought that was crazy. I was like, girl, what? I don't care how mad you are that she didn't tell you. You make sure your friend is okay. And she didn't check on her for like, it felt like 2 months. Like, it was a long time. And I was like, okay, well, what if something worse is happening? I couldn't move past that. And I felt like we didn't get closure with Diana, which was her best friend's name. He did like the male main character. I felt like he's definitely that grumpy football player, like for the first like 40%. I did feel like he was like unnecessarily rude at some points, but I get it because he's like the grumpy guy. So I understand that. I felt like it was dragged out. The spice scene was kind of weird at the end, and I couldn't move past that she did not do anything for her best friend. I don't know. If you guys have read any of these books, let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think about them. Tell me if we have the same feelings or different. I'd love to see what people think about books that I loved or books that I didn't like. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching my February recap. I honestly had so much fun reading this month. I was in a huge reading mood, and I was reading whenever I could, and I finished 11 books in one novella, so I felt like that was pretty good for me. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I absolutely love you all so much. If you could like this video and subscribe, it would mean the world to me, and I'll be back next Friday with another video. Bye!